Jeremy Clarkson can't seem to park anywhere without a fight breaking out. Start with the one everyone thinks they already know about, the farm shop car park at Diddley Squat. Back in June 2023, a planning inspector overturned West Oxfordshire District Council's refusal and let Clarkson use former agricultural land for visitor parking, according to Hart. But that win came with a catch. The permission was only temporary, tied to a condition that the land had to be returned to its original state within 3 years. That clock was set to run out this June. So in July, Clarkson's team went back to the council, this time asking for the extension to run all the way to the end of 2030, according to SWNS. Their reasoning, in their own words, was pretty simple. Season 5 was airing, Season 6 had just been commissioned for summer 2027, and 3 further years to monitor and review thereafter seems appropriate. Oxfordshire County Council, acting as the Highways Authority, said it wasn't objecting while visitor numbers stay high. Their transport lead, Oliver Egan, put it this way: the original 3-year limit existed to balance the identified landscape harm and the need for operational car parking. That's parking dispute number 1. Here's where it stops being a one-off. Because Clarkson has a second car park, at a second property, going through basically the same fight. The farmer's dog, his pub in Asthall, needed an overflow car park too, space for up to 360 cars on 6 acres of rented farmland. In March, that got retrospective planning permission, meaning it was already in use before it was technically approved, according to GB News. It's now allowed to stay until the end of 2029. 2 properties. 2 car parks. 2 rounds of "we built it, now please let us keep it." You could read that as a pattern of Clarkson expanding faster than the paperwork can keep up with, though nothing in what's been reported says that's intentional, and it's just as easy to read it as 2 separate businesses that both got more popular than anyone planned for. And then there's a third thread tangled into that overflow car park specifically, one that doesn't fit neatly into temporary permission, please extend. Historic England had raised concerns about the overflow lot sitting close to the Asthall Barrow, an ancient burial mound. GB News reported Clarkson responded by having 1-inch deep aluminium sheeting laid across a 10,000 square foot section of the car park, apparently to protect the ground underneath. Historic England called the retrospective application itself a positive step toward sorting the concerns out. Which brings up the metal sheeting again, but from a different angle. In February, the drinks business, citing the Standard, reported that a 68-year-old NHS worker named Elizabeth Palmby is pursuing a legal claim against Clarkson after she says she tripped on those same metal ground covers in the car park back in November. She's reported to have broken ribs and cut her hand. In her words, the covers were razor sharp, and the fall left her struggling to breathe. Sit with that for a second. The exact fix that was meant to protect an ancient burial site from car park traffic is now, allegedly, the thing that put a woman in the hospital. Nobody's confirmed whether that's the same stretch of sheeting or a different section of the lot, the reporting doesn't specify. But the coincidence, if it is one, is hard to ignore. Is any of this actually connected, or is it just what happens when a small farm shop turns into a nationwide tourist stop? Worth asking honestly. A 3-year planning condition running out isn't unusual, councils do that all the time, for all sorts of businesses, and it's got nothing to do with archaeology or trip hazards. The injury claim and the burial mound concerns both involve the same physical car park, sure, but a slip and fall claim and a heritage consultation aren't automatically the same story just because they happened in the same 6 acres. It's tempting to stitch it all into one grand car park war, and the framing writes itself, but the facts, laid flat, show 2 separate permission battles and 1 unrelated but overlapping safety complaint, not necessarily one unified conflict. Still, zoom out and the money side makes it look less like bad luck and more like a business running hot on all fronts. Clarkson told the Sunday Times, in reporting picked up by Yahoo News, that the pub alone spends £27,000 a month just on parking provision and traffic marshals, on top of £100 a day on generator fuel and £400 a week on heating the terrace. That's before you even get to the thing he complained about in his Times column back in December 2024, glasses. Not car parks, glasses. Last Sunday 104 went missing, he wrote, blaming pubgoers walking off with them and calling out how much it was costing the business. None of that is a car park story on its own. But it paints a picture, and again, this is inference, not a stated fact, of an operation where almost every part of it is bleeding money or bleeding goodwill in some small way, and the car parks just happen to be the most visible pressure point because they are the ones that need government sign-off to exist at all. Here's the actual open question, and it's the one nobody's answered yet. As of the most recent reporting, from July 5, West Oxfordshire District Council still hadn't ruled on the 2030 extension for the Farm Shop car park. That decision is still sitting on someone's desk right now. If they say no, Clarkson has to actually return the land to its original state, which, after 3 years of cars parked on it and however many hundreds of thousands of visitors, is a genuinely different task than it would have been in 2023. Small tangent, because it's the kind of detail that's easy to skim past. The reason any of this exists in the first place goes back to before either car park was controversial. Diddley Squat's parking problem started because the farm shop got too popular after Clarkson's farm launched on Amazon Prime, and visitors were causing blocked roads, damaged verges, and near misses on the school run in the village of Chadlington, according to earlier reporting from the Edinburgh area. Locals actually backed the temporary car park plan at the time, worried about kids' safety more than anything else. It's a little strange to think that a show about a man failing at farming eventually produced a genuine road safety crisis for a small Cotswolds village, but that's how we got here. So where does the council's decision land, and what happens to Elizabeth Palmby's claim in the meantime? Neither of those has an answer yet, and there's no indication either is close to one. The council's ruling on 2030 could come down any week now. The legal claim doesn't have a reported court date, a settlement figure, or even a public response from Clarkson himself. Nobody's gone on record addressing the razor-sharp allegation directly. What we're left with is 2 live, unresolved threads sitting inside the same 6 acres of Oxfordshire farmland, one about paperwork, one about a person who says she got hurt. Whether West Oxfordshire lets the extension through, and whether Palmby's claim actually goes anywhere, are both still open. This one isn't done yet. We'll be watching the council's decision, so subscribe if you want to know the second it lands.